If you suffer from brain fog, you know how frustrating it can be because we kind of take our brains for granted because it's the only one you have, and you sort of know how it operates and you know what you can expect from it, and then all of a sudden it's not doing that, and you have trouble concentrating, and you're all of a sudden having trouble finding words, and you're moody, and you're maybe anxious, and things are just foggy, and you can't remember whether you did something or not, and it's very, very frustrating. And it's not necessarily associated with age. Certainly you've got cognitive impairment as people get older, that can happen, but I have plenty of 20-somethings and 30-somethings who are really suffering severe brain fog, and so I wanted to talk about it because not only is it frustrating, but it means something, of course. And our favorite topic on this channel is hiatal hernia syndrome, and the way the two are intertwined is that with hiatal hernia syndrome, patients tend to have a chronic gut imbalance that has led to increased pressure in their gut, increased inflammation in their gut, and the connection between your gut and your brain is a very intimate one, and so that's what I wanted to discuss today. So what are some of the reasons why you might have brain fog? One is poor sleep, and sometimes people are allowing enough time in the bed, sometimes they're not. So, but if you are allowing enough time but your sleep quality is poor, then we have to figure out why that is. If you're not allowing enough time, you need to. The sweet spot is 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And so it's estimated people need an extra 30 minutes of, there is some awake time during the night. And actually optimal is just under half an hour. So if you're a pretty good sleeper and you seem to thrive on 7 hours, then you really need to be in bed for 7.5 in order to actually get that, okay? And then there's, of course, the unhealthy diets that we are just immersed in this country. But what happens with processed foods, high sugar diets, ultra-processed foods, packaged foods, fast food, all of these non-foods, we should say, because they're not real food that's found in nature. The problem is that it really causes a lot of stress and inflammation on the gut because your body doesn't inherently recognize it as food. There's chemicals, there's not just pesticides, there's plastics, there's these forever chemicals, there's a lot of different things in our food that causes us to crave and directs our dopamine centers in our brain to want more, and it's kind of a chemistry experiment instead of just, being an apple or a piece of broccoli or, a piece of beef, right? So cleaning up your diet to have pure, unadulterated food, actual food in it is very, very key to having a healthy gut and therefore having a healthy brain that's not foggy. Another thing is that you can be eating good food, but if you have a food sensitivity, you're going to need to determine what that is. So a common one with brain fog is gluten. So gluten is, it comes from real grains, wheat, rye, barley, and those could be fine. There's a lot that's done to our grains in our country, but let's just say it's a nice pure grain. But if you're reacting to it, gluten in particular is known to be neuro-inflammatory. So a key symptom associated with gluten sensitivity is brain fog. So that we know. So making sure you're not gluten sensitive in addition to a really clean diet is going to be really helpful for you. Another one is stress. So it can be tough if you have a stressful life to kind of get full control of that, but making steps, taking measures to diminish your stress load is going to be very, very helpful for you, because all three of these, poor sleep, the unhealthy diet, and the stress, really weighs on your microbiome. So the microbiome is your 60 to 100 trillion organisms in your colon that keep us healthy, keep us balanced, keep our immune system strong, keep our hormones balanced. The microbiome makes serotonin, which is the happy, feel-good chemical. And if you have a imbalanced gut, you're not going to make as much serotonin and you're going to have brain fog. So they are related. Some of you know this, some of you don't. Some of you are not paying attention to diet and lifestyle, and you're just wanting to get on some drug to make your brain sharper. And it's deeper than that, because that same imbalance that's creating the brain fog is creating other imbalances for you as well. So it's just better to naturally identify what is it and fix it, and then you fix a whole slew of problems that you might not even have yet, but that are brewing because of this imbalance. Okay, lack of exercise is another one. We Americans are not great in this category. We're really quite sedentary, and exercise helps with hormone balance. It helps with your microbiome. It helps with bone strength, making more muscle, so you've got a faster metabolism, so you're not likely to gain weight. There's so many things that exercise are beneficial for, including mood, and so very, very healthy for the brain. So a lot of different things that exercise does. So there's no negative, it's only positive, so it's very important that you get that to be part of your lifestyle. What else do I want to talk to you about? Certainly smoking, excess alcohol, excess caffeine. So a cup of coffee in the morning is fine. Much past early in the day can be problematic for sleep, and then sleep can be problematic for your brain to sort of cleanse itself. Your gut does a cleanse and your brain does a cleanse, and so you really need good, deep, restorative sleep in order for the brain to be able to cleanse itself, and that can't happen if you've got too much caffeine on board, even early afternoon. So it's kind of a morning, should be a morning ritual, and then stop so you can really clear that caffeine and get in a deep sleep. Hormonal imbalance is another one, so getting to the root of why your hormones are imbalanced, depending on, male, female, we can all suffer from this, but what is really the root cause of it is important, because your brain will suffer if your hormones are imbalanced. Another thing is toxic exposure, so evaluating things like mold and heavy metals and chemicals in our environment that your immune system is not dealing well with. I mean, toxins are fine as long as when you're exposed to them, your body goes, okay, I don't love this, but I can break it down and I can excrete it. As long as you're keeping up with metabolizing it and excreting it, then a toxin's not going to be a burden, overburdening your body. But as soon as that's not happening, now we have body burden, we have microbiome imbalance, we have hormone imbalance, and certainly the brain is going to suffer as well. So the reason I wanted to bring this up is that I recently had a slew of patients with brain fog of all ages, and certainly the 20 and 30-year-olds were a little bit joking about the fact, like, it's a little early for dementia, right? And of course it is, but it doesn't make it any less scary or concerning when your brain is just not operating the way you know it should and could. Life is tougher, you can't remember whether you did something, or you're talking to somebody, you're trying to do a great job at work. Whatever it is, you need brain clarity, and it's very distressing when that's not happening. So there is always a reason, including getting older. That does not have to be a sentence to get dementia just because the body is aging. There's things you can do across all ages of life. The gut has a lot to do with that. Therefore, it ties into hiatal hernia syndrome. And if you know anybody suffering from brain fog, please tell them about this video so they know there is hope. And basically, it's finding somebody who is not just going to drug you and call what you have some sort of mental problem, but really get to the root of why you have it. And there can be several different reasons that are playing into that, and you don't have to continue suffering. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so more people can see this information, and I'll talk to you soon.